Hey guys, Sam from Manfa's Makes. How are you all? Welcome back to all my returners, and hi to any newbies. It's so great to have you here. Please do stick around a while, and if you like what you see, give me a thumbie. They are free. So today I have come on to give you an update on the Pick My WIP that you guys so graciously voted for a little while ago. I can't even remember when you voted for it, but I have been busy making it and getting it all done and dusted to show you today that I have indeed done as you requested. Oh yes. So actually, the Pick My WIP video was the 7th of April, if my planner is correct. Who knows? And the results of the vote were as follows. The flamingo got 24 and the chicken got 10. So you guys spoke, you guys decided, and I had to get making. And finally I am able to come on and show you what I have made. So the winning pattern was this one, the Flamingo Family. And it is a pattern from Jade. She is quite a big person here on the YouTubes, and she is a big crochet designer. This pattern was actually gifted to me by the beautiful and wonderful Patricia over at yarnycat_crochet. I will link her down in the description. She is fabulous. I love her loads. I appreciate the beautiful pattern that she gifted me. It did take quite a while for me to get it on my hooks, but we got there eventually, which just proves if you guys are going to gift me, I will use it at some point. I just never know when. So I did put this to good use. Patricia, thank you so much. It was interesting in good and bad ways. Obviously, I love flamingos. Flamingos are my favourite animals. I'm going to move the camera to prove how much they are. I am even wearing a flamingo today. Yes, I am. I have a few flamingo t-shirts. It was just luck of what I threw on to film. Didn't plan that. But it was a happy coincidence. She knows how much I love flamingos. She knows how much I enjoy making amigurumi. So she put those two things together and treated me by gifting me a pattern for them. But it isn't just the flamingo you see on the front. That is the daddy flamingo. There is also a pattern for the mama flamingo and a little baby flamingo as well. And I did go through it all with you in prior videos. This one was not your bog standard amigurumi pattern. Oh no, I had to learn some new techniques along the way, and I'm really thankful for that. As a crafter, sometimes things can get a little bit stale in using the same kind of formula, the same kind of rules around your crafting. I know we can switch it up by changing colours. You know, if you're making something like a wearable or a blanket or something like that, you can change up the stitches. But for amigurumi, it's not very often that you come across some new techniques in your making. Well, with this one, I did. And I will go through those as we discuss what I made. So you've seen the pattern. If I can find a link to the pattern, I will put it down below. I think it is a paid for pattern, so only purchase if you are able to. I am not trying to enable you. I am just giving you the resources should you wish one for yourself. And of course, I wanted to use yarn from Stash because I am trying to use Stash. I am buying it quicker than I can use it. But every bit used goes towards those yearly end of year targets, end of year totals, my monthly totals for hashtag craft yourself free, you know, all of that. It all goes in favour of that. Now, I haven't actually weighed my flamingos yet for the May totals, but I will do that at some point. And I have used a whole mixture of Stash yarn. It isn't just one brand. It's various colours. I needed cream and I didn't have a scrap bit of cream. Cream isn't a colour I have a lot of in my stash. So I, you know, improvised with white. But I will go through all of those with you. So I will go through the yarns first and the hooks and things like that. Did I actually pick up the bag with the hooks in? No, I didn't. Of course I didn't, because why would I be that, you know, seamless and professional? I will go through the yarns, then I will pause and go and get the hooks and things. Oh, Manfa. But it's okay. It really is okay. Now, I've got myself in a bit of a tangle. Bear with me. I have been digging and rooting around in this bag so much that it's all just got a little bit crazy. But again, that is okay, because that's how we craft. I will tidy it all and put it all away after this video. So have I got all of the yarns and things? Now, one thing that I will not be able to give you is safety eye millimeter sizes. I just got out my huge stash of safety eyes and just grabbed some that looked okay. All right, again, I'm not a professional, but that is how I did it. So the yellow that I needed for the duck bill on the Daddy Flamingo's bucket hat, that one, I just grabbed a little bit of scrap yellow that I had. This is probably Stylecraft and it's probably the colour Citron, but I couldn't tell you. I have long since lost the yarn label, but there we go, a little bit of yellow. No, that isn't all the yarn. Where's the white one? Where be the white one? He's tucked right at the bottom. There he is. Again, another scrap of white. This is not Stylecraft. I am not sure what this white is, but it served its purpose. I only needed a smidgy bit, again, for the brim of the hat on the duck hat. So there we go, another scrap ball. Black, again, have no clue what it is. It's now covered in polyfill. But I just grabbed a bit of black scrap that I had in my stash. Can't tell you what it is. No idea, but it's black and I needed it for embroidering. What did it? No, for the end of the flamingo beaks. The green for the duck sun hat, I used Kelly green in Stylecraft Special DK. That is not accurate. My camera is washing it out. It is much brighter and prettier in real life. But yeah, 100% premium acrylic, 295 meters or 322 yards, DK, Kelly green. I'm not going to give you all the stats because I used minimal of it. And then the two pinks. So the lighter pink that I used for the beak and the legs was Hobie's Kind Feather. 100% premium acrylic, anti-pilling. Colour number 10, made in Turkey, 100 grams acrylic, which is 3.5 ounces, 235 metres or 257 yards, lightweight 3. Again, minimal stats because, again, I just use a bit of it. There's still plenty left in this skein for further projects. And you see, guys, this just proves why I cannot do my craft yourself free totals on yarn bands or yardage, because I use very minimal amounts in amigurumi. So I go by weight. So who knows how much of that I have used. And then the darker pink was something that I found in my stash. I don't even remember where it came from. It is Milano Super Value Double Knitting. 100 grams or 3.5 ounces, 300 meters or 328 yards, 100% acrylic, made in Turkey, color 4020, and it looks like this. And I did use quite a bit of this one, but you know, it will have to go by weight when I weigh my flamingos, right? So there is the scrap of that one. And then for the tanny brown brim of the duck hat, I pulled out this Amigo 100% acrylic from Hobie. I am not a fan of the Amigo yarn. I'm just going to say that. This will probably be for little smidgy bits of amigurumi that I need to use, but it is a lot thinner of a lightweight 3 than some of the others that I have used, and it is a little bit noticeable. It's nice enough, it's just not one of my favourites, so I bought quite a few neutral shades in this Amigo, but I won't be, once it's all used up, I won't be repurchasing the Amigo. But it's 100% acrylic, 50 grams or 1.75 ounces, 175 meters or 191 yards, made in Turkey, lightweight 3, color 04. Not a fan, but it did what it needed to do, and that is incredible. Right, I'm going to pause you for just a sec so I can go and get my hooks. Be right back. Okay, so I'm back. So for the majority of the amigurumi flamingos, I used a 3mm dots, the orange one, and then for the hat you needed a slightly bigger hook, so I used my 4mm dots. There we go. So you know the yarn I used, you know the hooks I used. Right, now let's go through the order of how I made things. Now, I didn't make the daddy flamingo first. I made the mummy flamingo. Now, I'm going to try and get them out of my project bag and straighten them up a little bit. Now, the mummy flamingo is not perfect. There are a few things that are a little bit wonky and went astray a little bit, went awry. It's okay. It's handmade. It's not meant to be perfect. Okay. Straighten them out a little bit. Now, where did the little tiny baby go? Oh, I'm going to have to pause again. I put it in the pouch with the hooks and I forgot. Sorry, bear with. Okay, I'm back again. Right, that should be the last time that I need to pause, hopefully. So like I said, the first one that I made, well, how I did it was, I knew I was going to make all 3 of the flamingo family members. So I thought, right, reading through the pattern, reading the bits that went through the pattern, I did something like both beaks, the 4 legs, the 4 wings, the mama's pouch that needed crocheting, the bits that I needed multiples of. So I had a little bit of a conveyor belt going just so that I knew that when I was getting to the stage of making the body and the neck and the head and stuff, that I had the other attributes to put on. So I did the multiples of the pieces. Obviously, it's just the mama that needs the pouch to go up inside. So I just did one of those. And funny story, when I was making the legs, in the pattern, she shows pictures of the legs in yellow, just so that you can clearly see what she's trying to tell you in the pictures. But the flamingos themselves have pink legs, right? So without thinking, I grabbed my yellow ball of yarn. I made a whole leg, guys, that I didn't need and couldn't use because I wanted the legs to be pink like the picture. So I have a random yellow leg, but it's super cool because it's got a knee, a bendable knee, and you've got the little, you know, bumps there for the fins, or no, they're not fins. The toes, let's just call them the toes. But it's got a posable bendy knee. So let's just call it as Manfa wanted some practice on making the legs before the real thing. No, actually, Manfa did a boo-boo and made it in the wrong colour. But thankfully, I noticed before I had got further than 1. Because if I had made 4 yellow and then realised I actually needed 4 pink, I think I would have cried. But no, 1 random yellow leg. Yes, so that was a boo-boo that I made, but it's all right. It's okay. And like I said, you make the wings and the legs and the beak separate. They have to be made in separate pieces, but then crocheted in. So very minimal sewing. The only thing that needed sewing was to put the beak on the face, and if you wanted, rather than the wings to just be floppy, if you wanted them to remain tucked around the body, you had to sew them up a little bit. They were crocheted in, but then you could attach the wing further up to further on the body so that they're always tucked against their body. And I did choose to do that. And that was one of the new techniques that I discovered. Jade has a way of sewing them in place that I have never seen before, never done before. In the pattern, there are small little video links, and you can find those videos on her channel. And I did reference them to make sure that I was doing them right, because like I said, it's techniques I hadn't done before, but it is definitely techniques that I can utilize in the future. And I will be, if ever I make birds and things in my future makes. So yeah, just sew the, you know, tuck the wings on and sew the beak on. Everything else was crocheted. It was absolutely wonderful. So there were a lot of good things. The pouch for inside the mama is so that the baby flamingo can be inserted up inside and she can carry the baby around inside. And I did decide to do that because I thought it was unique and it was different. And again, I hadn't done anything like that. The construction of it was a bit confusing just reading the written instructions because I was unfamiliar with that technique. So having those video links was super wonderful because, you know, she walks you through it and her tutorials are clear. They are brilliant. They are easy to understand. She goes at a pace that you can follow. If not, you can pause anyway. And it was a really intriguing bit of construction. So the pouch was new to me. How she sewed the wings on was new to me. It was really lovely. Like I said, I also love how she got the bendy knee, and I again can use that technique in future makes. So it was really great. I got to learn new things. I got to experience new things. I got to make new things. I can use it going forward in my crafting. The only thing that was a slight was it was an intensive amigurumi make. This is definitely not a pattern for beginners. You need to have some amigurumi knowledge. And it meant that they didn't whip up as quick as some of the other amigurumis that I can make because there were more complex components to it, if that makes sense. But it was well worth it. Now, I'm going to be completely open and honest with you. Most of my crochet time in the past week prior to filming was getting these flamingos done because I needed to get this video out. I did kind of leave it last minute. I did put pressure on myself so that I had this video for my scheduled content. But I have figured out that even though I'm trying to give myself less stress and pressure, when I do have a deadline, when I do have something planned, it really does motivate me to get it done. Because if you've got, you know, days and weeks ahead of you before that cut-off point, before that deadline, you can kind of procrastinate. And I am a huge procrastinator in life, guys. I am totally open and honest about that. So I procrastinated, and then I was like, no, I need to get it done. So I scheduled in that video, and then as we got closer to that video needing to be filmed, i.e. today, I thought, right, I need to bust a gut and I need to get going, and that is how they came to be. Like I said, I started with the mama. I'm going to show her to you. She has wonky legs and a little bit of a wonky like head, but it's all right. It makes her unique. It gives her character. So here she is. She is gorgeous. Yes. So her legs don't line up with the straightness of her neck and her head. Her neck on this one, I should have stuffed it a little bit better. It still holds itself. It's not super floppy. I'm deliberately wiggling it. But if I'm just holding it, it's not like, you know, she's flopping over and being unsturdy. So she's absolutely fine, but by making her first, it made me improve when I made the daddy flamingo. Jade also taught me another way of closing up my amigurumis, which was another gorgeous little tip and trick that I picked up. She has got pink legs, not the yellow like I started with. So there she goes. Like I said, 2 different shades of pink. Pink's my favourite colour. The flamingo's my favourite animal. What is not to love? Now, the pouch that I'm referring to is actually up under there. And as you can see, there is something tucked up inside, and that is the little baby. So I made the mama, and then I made the baby, and then I went back to making the dad. Now the baby should have little embroidered feetsies on the bottom of him, but I decided that at this point, because it had been quite a labor intensive, intricate amigurumi, I was kind of over that. So I didn't put feet on him or her. I don't know if it's a girl or a boy, but this has got to be one of the smallest amis I have ever made, other than the thread make that I did. Super cute, super adorable. Are you ready for this cuteness? And if I made him again, I'd make the little tuft of hair on the top a little bit bigger. Are you ready? Look how itty bitty. I'm going to say he. Look how itty bitty he is. Obviously, I had to sew on the little beak there. He's also got little safety eyes, so these toys are not appropriate for small children. This is not going to a small child, so it is absolutely fine. His little tuft of hair on the top. He is tiny. So now that he is out, let me give you a better look at the pouch underneath. It is literally what looks like a slit, but inside it is a whole completed crochet piece. My fingers go into about my first knuckle, and there's no hole. It's not like the baby's gonna get lost all up inside or anything like that. So yes, super intriguing, super wonderful. So the baby, only the baby can go in the pouch, okay? So when the baby's not in the pouch, she also gives you a pattern for a little egg. I did make the little egg. There it is, super cute. Let me pop the little baby inside for you. There we go. Little Baba inside. Cuteness, cuteness. So yes, the baby can either have a ride with mum or can be in their little egg. There he is. So yes, I made the mama, I made the baby, I made the egg, and then I had to furiously get dad done because I wanted the whole family and I knew I had to film this video today. So the dad is the exact same pattern of the mum, excluding the pouch and the pouch construction. So by the time I had done the mama, I kind of had a feel for the pattern, and dad went slightly quicker because I didn't have the intricacies of said pouch. So are you ready to see dad? Let me just get him camera ready for you guys. There he is. There he is. Ready to go to the beach. Absolutely love him. Of course, the hat can come off. So there he is without his hat. His neck is slightly sturdier. His legs are still a little bit wonky. Maybe if I was to make these again, I would move them slightly over this way so they're a little more central. But that's okay. It's all right. And he is kind of looking off to the side. But again, that is absolutely okay. You can manipulate them a little bit. They're covered in polyfill. You can manipulate them a little bit, but this is what I mean about having the wings tucked up. If you hadn't have put some stitches in, they wouldn't be nice and tucked when you're holding them. They would kind of like hang forward. They would be more like this, but floppy. So I really like that she gave you the option to keep the wings tucked in. Again, he's got his bendy, knobbly knees. And he's got his duck bucket hat to wear. There we go. So cute, so adorable. Let me put him up against the picture. Let me put his hat more forward. So there we go. I did it. I did the make that you asked me to do. But guys, I didn't actually make those flamingos first. Even though you guys voted for the flamingos, I really wanted to make that chicken. So before I even plucked the yarn from my stash for the flamingos, before I even looked at the pattern, I had picked the yarn and made the chicken cushion. So I cheated. I didn't do what you asked of me first and foremost. No, I did things how I wanted to. I wanted to do both patterns. So even though it started off as a this or a that, you actually get both. And if you remember last month in my Craft Yourself free totals, I said that there was a make that I couldn't show you yet, but it had been made and weighed and put in last month's totals. Well, it was in fact this chicken. So there was the chicken that you voted on as well. This is a 3 AM Grace Designs pattern. I said if I was going to make it, I wouldn't make it white. He's not plain white. There is some white, and there's 3 AM Grace Designs there. Again, if I can find the pattern, I will link it. It is a paid pattern. Only buy if you can. Not enabling you, just telling you what I did. So yeah, I actually made this one first, and he has been sat waiting for his debut for a lot longer than the flamingos. So I actually did double the work. I did double the projects that were needed. So there we have it. Now, for this one, what hook did I use? They recommended a 5mm, so I must have used my 5mm. I'm not pausing again to go and get it, guys. It's not in my Notions pouch, but it is the 5mm dots that goes with this set. It's a darker blue. And the yarn that I picked out for this one, I think is super cute. So for his beak, I picked out this scrap that I had. It's Stylecraft Special Aran, which is a 4-weight. This has got 196 meters or 214 yards. And it's in the colour Spice. Again, I'm not giving you loads of stats, guys, because there's no need to. And then the same yarn, but in the colour Matador for his little waddle and his comb. Bright red. That is not accurate. It's like just bright red. And then for the main body of the chicken, what did I choose? Now this, and after finally working with it, I know that I am going to use it for sure in other projects. I picked Premier Dotty. See the stats there on the front: 656 yards or 600 meters, 7 ounces, 200 grams, 100% acrylic. And this color is Buttercup. And it is a creamy white base with neon orange and yellows and pinks. It is gorgeous. You can see that there's brighter orange flecks, there's a peachy orange, there is a baby pink, there is a darker yellow, there is a lighter yellow. Absolutely gorgeous. I so enjoyed working with this yarn. It feels gorgeous. So happy that I got to try all that one out. And to be in the spotlight. Oh, and I did use a tiny little bit of scrap black, which is probably the same scrap black that I used for the flamingo. So are you ready to see my chicken? Ta-da! Isn't he cute? I absolutely am. I am so pleased that I made both. So that is now 2 patterns out of my pattern stash done. Another 2 that I can say I have finally used, because if you know Manfa, you know that she has a bajillion pattern books, a bajillion magazines, a bajillion printed patterns, a bajillion saved digital patterns. Yeah, pattern collecting is also a hobby of mine, as is yarn collecting and then doing the actual crocheting. So that is 2 patterns that I have used. Didn't buy specifically for this. I already had the patterns in my stash. and I absolutely love him. And I gave him a coppery, orangey, glittery eye. Beautiful. But yes, I just love the specklies in him. Slightly different on both sides. So I actually did both pick my WIP projects. So he won't be included in this month's totals for Craft Yourself Free because I included him. But you seen the secret project that I was referring to in those totals. So yes, done. He is earmarked as a gift for somebody. So he will be finding his new home at some point this year when I get around to shipping him, as will my flamingo family. I am going to be gifting these as well. But I'm not telling you who the gifties are for any of these makes because I want them to choose whether they share it with you or not. And I haven't told them that I've made them for them. So, surprise! You may get to see them, you may not. But the reason why I've chosen to gift them, guys, is not that I don't like them and I don't want to keep them. Of course I would. But I am very limited for storage and space here where I am. And I don't have any of my amigurumi makes out on display, or if I do, very few. They deserve more than to be put in a made. Do you know what I mean? I want them to be loved and appreciated. I want somebody to get joy out of them. I just don't have the facility to display them or have any use for them. Yes, I do have young nephews, but the 3-year-old in particular, I would be a bit wary of the safety eyes in all of them. And they're not really their jam. I don't think they'd want flamingos. So I'm going to gift them to friends of mine that I know will love and appreciate them. So they're both pick my WIP projects done and dusted, and I cheated and did the chicken first even though you wanted the flamingos. Yep, I'm a cheat, but in a good way, not in a negative way. So I will put all my scraps away, I'll put my hooks away, I will put my patterns in my completed pattern folder. And I do believe that next month there will be another Pick My WIP where you get to choose what I make. And I'm not guaranteeing that every time I do a Pick My WIP I'm going to make both things. There may be time constraints. It may be that I can only make one of them. It just all depends. I made the time to make both. I enjoyed making both. I learned a lot from making those flamingos. I will, of course, leave all the YouTube channels that I've mentioned down in the description box. Go check them out. I will leave both patterns in the description box if I can find them. And yeah, we will see what 2 projects I pull out of my binders next time. But that's not for a couple of weeks yet. I want to give myself a little bit of a break before I do that again, because it's a make that I have promised to show, so I cannot change my mind. So I just need to gear myself up to be ready to do that again. But I hope you enjoyed looking at what I did get done. Like I said, the flamingos have taken up most of my crochet time this week, so they will feature again in my crochet catch up on Thursday. I won't go through so many details like I did today, but I will feature them again because that is the majority of the crocheting that I got done. So please, 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 tomorrow for what I have planned then. I hope your week is going well. I hope you are all well yourselves. And yeah, just enjoy your crafting, guys. I am at the minute and I am loving it. Anyway, until I see you tomorrow, stay safe, be kind, look after one another, get some good quality time in with your loved ones, and get some good quality crafting. YouTube. Bye.